former Clemson, former Oregon State quarterback DJ Uiagalelei is going to be transferring to Florida State. He's going to play quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles. I think a lot of this had to do with Florida State watching Cam Ward, the Washington State quarterback, decide that, hey, I'm not even going to transfer. I'm just going to go to the NFL. And I think that really narrowed down the choice for DJ as well as for Florida State. So DJ will be playing against Clemson this year in Tallahassee. It's kind of interesting to see DJ go from playing for the Tigers to Oregon State, coming all the way back to the East Coast to play for Florida State. Now, folks, I'm not being facetious here or snarky or condescending, but last I checked, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Jaheim Bell, these guys are no longer playing for Florida State. Am I right? So my question is, who is he going to throw to? I mean, literally, you're losing your entire receiving corps. I know that Florida State is going to hit the transfer portal. I know that Florida State has recruited other wide receivers. But I'm just, and Florida State fans, I'm not talking trash here to you, but I have to say this to Clemson fans all the time. Over the past few years, I really haven't had to say much. All you had to do was watch Clemson play a football game and watch their receiving corps either drop the football or, not fight for the football, can't get open, blah, 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 blah. But when you lose great wide receivers, dominant wide receivers, and good grief, they're all flipping tall, exactly who is he going to throw to? So, excuse me. The other thing that I would throw out there to you, let's talk about Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis really impressed me this season when he played against Clemson because he was hurt. You could tell he was hurt. Clemson they stopped blitzing him. That helped get them back into the game, but that's a whole other subject. Florida State won the ball game, end of story. But Jordan Travis is a very mobile quarterback. This guy can throw the football, but he's very mobile. I can tell you from watching DJ play at Clemson, I'm not talking trash about him, but I am telling you the truth. DJ is not nearly as mobile as Jordan Travis. So, to me, I would rather have to play against DJ than I would have to play against Jordan Travis. If I'm a defensive coordinator and I had to choose between those two players, I would say put me up against DJ all day long. Why? Well, because I really don't have to worry about him burning me on the run. Yes, he'll pull the run on the RPO and run here and there, but to the depth and ability of Jordan Travis to be able to take off and really make you pay on the ground, I think it's a lot easier to defend and have to play defense against DJ than Jordan Travis. I mean, that's just to me the truth. I knew that at Clemson, we saw defenses stack the box against us and basically told us, look, we know you can't throw against us. We know you can't. Every now and again, DJ would make a world-class throw, and that's the thing about DJ. He will go out and he'll make a throw here and there to where you're sitting there going, okay, this guy has an incredible ability here and there, but it's not consistent. And so I don't blame the guy for leaving Oregon State, especially with Jonathan Smith leaving. Jonathan Smith is one of those coaches that he was a quarterback at Oregon State. He's one of those coaches that he can coach. You know, coaching matters. I harp on that all the time. I harp on that ad nauseum, that coaching matters. Who's wearing the headset actually matters. And if it doesn't matter, why in the crud do you pay these guys so much money if it's just basically a game of luck? And we know it's not a game of luck. We know that it's a game of skill. You have to take, You have to plan. You have to hire a great staff around you. So I don't blame DJ for leaving Oregon State with Jonathan Smith leaving. What I do question is, why would he want to come to Florida State other than money? Why would he want to come to Florida State? And unless they're going to bring in some unbelievable wide receiving court, which they possibly could, because Florida State's extremely active in the transfer portal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just don't see it. He might go in and play Clemson this year and beat Clemson, and it's like, oh, DJ got the last laugh. Maybe so. I'm not even commenting on that. I'm just saying this doesn't make sense for Florida State, because Florida State could have went out and got a mobile quarterback who has a good arm. I think one of the best finds I've seen so far for a team to go out and get a mobile quarterback who can run the RPO very well, who can throw very well, who has a lot of experience, and they're not small. They're 6'3". I think NC State is got a great quarterback out of Coastal Carolina. In fact, if Clemson used the transfer portal, especially with Cade having a lot of questionable moments here and there, and I've taken up for him. I'm not going into that. That's a long subject, a long rabbit trail. I would have loved for Clemson to have picked up Grayson McCall out of the transfer portal, because I've watched him play in person, and I've watched him play just games on TV several times. The guy can play football. I could understand Florida State going after that guy. I could see them go after him, but Florida State has this sense about them that they have quarterbacks that are generally mobile. In the past few years, Jameis Winston was not fast, but he could move. Jameis Winston could move, and it's just this is just kind of interesting that he's going to end up playing against Clemson. But hey, if this is where he feels he needs to be, great. It's just interesting to me. He leaves the West Coast from high school, comes to the East Coast. Then he goes back to the West Coast, and now he's coming back to not only the East Coast, he's coming back to the same conference to play against his former team. I mean, this is the new college football, and it's just interesting. I really don't know. There's some really good comments in here. And I wish him all the luck. John Sarian, I agree with you. I wish him, I wish him the very best. I'm not going to talk a bunch of trash about DJ. I know that he did not pan out at Clemson like we thought he would, but I do come back to this, player development. And I'll leave you with this thought, people. I'm not going to go down some crazy trail, because I've made some comments this past week which I stand by, and history has proven me right, unfortunately. But I'm not going to just go down this trail really, really hard here. I'm just going to make a comment that if you recruit a lot of the same players that Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, and keep going, they're recruiting, and they come to your school, and say at wide receiver, they end up dropping the football more in their second year than their first year, and you really don't see the player development, that is on coaching. And we saw DJ come out and play behind Trevor. He did okay. He had an incredible game against Notre Dame with a bunch of players out, from what I can remember. He did lose that game, and he was held to that game. But we saw him never really be developed. We have questions about the offensive coordinating during that time. Where was Tony's mind? Of course, he had to play for Brandon Streeter last year, who was fired after a year. But now we're looking at Cade, and we're saying, what's going on with Cade? What is happening with Cade? Do we need to go recruit another 4 or 5-star quarterback only for him to flounder, for us to realize there's a development issue? I'll leave it at that. But the breaking news is DJ has went from California in high school, from St. Bosco all the way to Clemson, back to Corvallis, Oregon, back to Tallahassee, Florida, and he will play against the Clemson Tigers this season. Folks, you take care of yourself. I hope that you'll hit the subscribe button. It is free, and it's the easiest way to support the channel. Y'all take care of yourself, and hopefully you watch some good bowl games today. Go Tigers.